A Hoax in the Sky. I'm Rebecca Lieb.
I'm Jason Horton.
And this is Ghost Town.
Type of bomb on board was an altitude controlled bomb, and we did not know what altitude it was set to go off at.
Qantas had paid $500,000 ransom to guarantee the safety of the 116 passengers after a telephone caller had convinced officials that an altitude bomb had been placed aboard.
If you know me and you don't, I love a good hoax. Love it.
Hoax and Horton.
I love it's when a word ends with the letter X. I'm like, this is good.
Hijinks.
And
hoax.
I love hoaxes.
Tex-Mex.
And I think what has brought that on is I just love them. I love, obviously the pyramid schemes, scams, fraud-based things. And I've been listening to my current favorite podcast, and probably one of my favorite podcasts is Swindled. It's excellent. It's
free plug for Swindle.
Free. They don't need it.
They don't.
But when I run out of episodes, I'm going to be very, very upset.
Yeah.
It's great.
You're like a ticking time bomb.
It just covers a lot of swindles. There's crime involved, but it's not. It usually doesn't end as macabre as some of the things. But if you're into any kinds of frauds, scams, white collar crime, and sometimes it gets a little dirty. But it got me really interested in hoaxes, and this is one hoax that I've always been.
Hoaxified?
I was kind of familiar with it, just in general research, but I never really got down and dirty with it.
And you did. It's like, whoa, where are we now?
Yeah, but it is the Qantas bomb hoax of 1971.
Ooh,
because it is a hoax. So bombs and airplanes in 1971 were bad, but worse after 9/11. But the fact that it's a hoax and it takes place in Australia, and for some reason Australia, we listen to Teacher's Pet, right?
Australia is unhinged.
There's the level of kind of crime, and I love Australia. Like we'd love to go there.
Oh, absolutely.
Somebody send us there.
My brother lives there.
Oh yeah, does he like it?
Yeah, he loves
I thought he lived in China.
He did live in China. He moved to Australia. He's in Adelaide.
Okay,
I want to go visit.
It's not like, I lived in Valley Village and then he moved to Burbank. No. He's not. Okay.
No. We love Australia. We have loved ones in Australia. It's just the culture there is so, it's like sliding doors England. It's very like bizarro Europe.
Yeah.
Plus deadly animals.
Yeah. I feel like there's just like the crime and true crime aspect in Australia is rife. I guess.
Yeah.
And I guess Australia was a debtor's prison at one time.
Yes,
right?
it was.
So it's interesting, but this is not meant to be disparaging.
No.
It's a celebration. We'd love to go.
A celebration. The Qantas bomb hoax is a celebration of your culture.
Well, I mean, the thing is when people pull off like a scam, particularly if nobody, obviously a victimless crime, but if nobody gets hurt, and it's just like monetary damage or time consumption, I feel like credit should be given to the people that pull them off, especially over a long period of time.
Yeah.
That's in a general thing. I feel like there should be some credit given where maybe you could like turn around and be like, hey, let me lend and that happens, let me lend my knowledge.
Sure.
Like a hacker that gets caught and then says, hey, listen, in turn, I'll lend my knowledge to how to, safeguard your internet better.
Yeah.
I feel like some credit should be given. But I guess I'll give some credit to Mr. Brown. Oh.
What?
You want to know about Mr. Brown?
Yeah.
Okay.
He sounds ominous.
Single.
Does he have a first name and a...
Listen, you're sounding just like a Fed. You sound just like a Fed.
Narc alert. Yes. I'm cool. I smoke.
Let me just kind of lay it out. At 11 a.m., May 26th, 1971, a man calling himself Mr. Brown, called the Department of Civil Aviation, which is, I guess, I don't know if that's that's what it's called in everywhere, or I'm not familiar with aviation.
I'll ask my brother about it.
Yeah,
but,
there might be.
Yeah, in fact, I would love him to weigh in on this because he taught a class about hoaxes and crashes and all kinds of...
Yeah. I'm not talking conspiracy theories.
No, but like aviation, like craziness, essentially.
I like that.
Class was called that.
He's not going to say the earth is flat, is he?
He's a flat earther. He's my brother and I love him. He has some good ideas.
Yeah. So it was transferred to a police officer, and he said there was a bomb in Locker 84 at Sydney's Kingsford Smith International Airport. So he's like, there's a bomb.
He's like, here's some info. Department of Civil Aviation.
It was supposed to be a 24-stick gelgenide barometric bomb, which
Oh my God, I love those bombs.
terrifying.
Yeah,
it sounds terrifying.
It sounds like it's made of a neon color, like it glows in the locker.
Yeah, it's
like a Ghostbusters style.
Yeah, it's 24. Listen, one stick and I'm nervous.
Yeah.
You got 24 sticks.
Whoa, stop it! Stop
No,
it! Stop
you.
it! Mm-mm.
Also, there is an identical bomb on board.
Cool, a twin.
Boeing 707 Qantas jet. It was flight 755, London to Hong Kong. So
double whammy.
Big international.
Classic. We got one domestic. We got one abroad, baby.
So they go and check. They're like, let's see what's going on. Bomb spot. And they found it. There was a bomb.
Oh, okay.
It was not activated.
Okay.
But obviously it was a real bomb. They were like, somebody made this, was like, knew what they were doing. So it's not, it's not like a prank. It's like they showed up and there was a bag of dog poop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, they're not here. And it was like, sorry, Gwyneth Paltrow's head.
Yeah. Yes. Sorry. Is that your reimagining of
This is already a better version of Seven.
So they were like, this is a real bomb, and there were 3 notes found inside the box of the bomb. So there was more information. They were
life finds a way.
Nope, not even close.
Believe in your dreams.
Yes. But it was backwards. They were like, you're in believe. We'll never figure this one out.
Burn it.
The first one was addressed to Captain R.J. Ritchie, Qantas general manager. And he said wanted $500,000 in ransom in exchange for instructions how to defuse the bomb. It's an altitude bomb. So when it hits the altitude, it's like Speed, but up. Yeah.
It's Up. The movie Up.
Up, but speed.
On Up.
Which is interesting because we kind of did an episode about the Balloon Fest.
Yeah.
And that was Up. We're really...
Well, we are...
The Ghost Town universe is...
Get a locker, put some pictures up, start putting strings.
Yeah, you can really...
You will crack this.
Yeah,
you are here to crack
You're
this.
in the Ghost Town universe.
Quit your job. Stop your friends. Make this your life.
And if you have friends, how do you do it? How do you have any friends?
Is this what we talk about? Patreon.com/GhostTownPod?
Not yet.
Okay.
You got the name right, though.
Jumping at the bit. Because I finally got the name after over 100 episodes.
I'm only on letter number 1.
Whoa, damn. Okay, we got a lot. We got a journey. All right.
The second letter was addressed to Sergeant Short, the police. He says a larger device. I don't know if he thought maybe like I need enough people to get this information. Like, for example,
covering his bases,
If one person... If it's only one and the person's maybe out sick and it takes them a couple days to get it, it needs to
on
be...
vacation with their family, someone's wife got pregnant and like they're out.
So same information.
Sure.
The third one said that if the plane descended actually below 20,000 feet, the bomb would explode.
Okay, what is it?
So
is
what goes up must come down.
Or is
it's
it
going
descending?
down.
Okay.
It's once maybe it triggers up.
Okay, triggers
and
up.
And then triggers down.
And then, so turned on.
Yes.
Explode.
You
can't see my finger right now, but my
if
finger
you could
went up,
stay
my finger went down.
In infinitum up in the air.
Infinitum, is that a word?
I don't know. Infinitum?
Infinitiveness?
No, infinitum. It sounds like it's a word.
Like in perpetuity?
Yeah. It's not illegal. It's illegal.
No.
The Office of the Prime Minister, the Premier, the Minister of Civil Aviation, they all got the information. The Army and Navy got together. They had submarines, helicopters, because we're gonna go up, we gotta go down. We have to cover all bases.
Sure.
Air and sea rescue, bomb dismantling.
Yeah.
Probably they were like, wow, we really have to assemble on this one.
We're gonna crack force. And this is bomb stuff is no joke.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. This is not but if you remember the title, you can just...
It's a jokes.
You can relax.
Joke hoax.
No, it's a hoax. It's a real hoax.
Wow, okay. Yeah. A joke hoax would just be real.
Yeah.
A real bomb.
I guess so, yeah.
Damn.
So there was 116 passengers, 12 crew. They connected to the captain, William, nicknamed Bill.
Stop it.
Selwyn, yeah. And he was in control of the plane. He was told, he was skilled. He knew what he was doing. He said, continue north to Brisbane, Queensland, which way they were going and follow, just wait for instructions. But he realized that Sydney Airport was superior in capacity for, capabilities and emergencies. So he was kind of like changed to kind of go in that direction. So he's going back. Now he's going back to Sydney and maintain an altitude of 3,500 feet, 1,500 above.
Okay.
So the crew, started looking for this bomb.
Sure. They were like, but like probably in a casual, like, oh,
yeah.
Check
hey, do you want
around.
some nuts?
Can I look inside your bag, please?
Yeah.
Can I pat you down?
And everyone's smoking cigarettes.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's cool.
I like, My brother took me up in a plane, like a little Cessna plane when he first got his license. It was one of the most terrifying and humbling things as an older sibling. Also, there was an ashtray, like an old school ashtray. Like
I remember them. I remember being on planes with ashtrays.
Oh my God.
I remember it really well. Like I remember and then when they kind of like sealed them up when they were like, you can't do this anymore, but they still had them in there before they eventually changed the
Amazing.
So he found a minimum speed because he had to save gas. They were looking for they were looking for scouring it. They were looking for it. Yeah. And
everyone's like, what the hell's going on here? All the Australians were like, we just want to get home. Everyone's like, we're checking your bags again. We're checking your cufflinks and pockets. Let me look inside your eyeballs. What's going on inside that pill case?
Nope.
Oof.
Well, you know what? They didn't find anything, did they?
No.
But they did not know that at the time there was negotiations. Everyone has a nickname. Captain Robert James Burt Ritchie. It's like, did you give yourself your own nickname?
Yeah, you just take another normcore male name and put it in your name.
And General Manager Philip Housen, the extortionist, wanted to speak with Captain Ritchie, who was out of his office at the time. Housen,
out of office, you know?
You don't know who's going to be there.
Look, everyone has a life.
And so Housen says, I'm the general manager. So they started negotiating. Qantas wrote a check for $500,000.
Yeah, they're like, here, I don't know. God.
Yeah. They started, they wrote the check and they were starting to bundle them, $20 notes, I guess, whatever it's not $20 bills, but whatever the
Australian currency.
Like the highest Australian currency, the reserve bank. And they're counting the money through the afternoon. They only had time to record a minimal number of banknote prefixes, to track the money, when they get it. It was late in the afternoon. It's winter. Now, Mr. Brown set the ransom by this time. There was only 1 hour of fuel on the plane. So they were like, we can't do this forever,
people. Like, get on it.
So Mr. Brown spoke with Captain Housen.
And Dr. Brown Soda's like, no, man, come on.
It's not a Jewish deli, right? Dr. Brown's a Jewish deli,
Brown,
right?
Yeah, the celery soda, the cream soda.
I always pretended to like it. I never really, I don't know. Maybe
I like it. I love soda, though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I used to go to Jewish delis and that's what they had. Maybe root beer.
Yeah, for sure.
Totally relevant to the story, though.
Yeah. Well, Brown. Dr. Mr. Who's to say?
I am. It has nothing to do with it.
Oh, okay.
So they spoke at 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m. as time was going on, more instructions. And he always had details that he was like, next you'll get more details. So he's just basically kind of just stalling.
Okay.
And then a call at 5:30 came from Mr. Brown with the final payoff instructions. The exchange lasted 9 minutes. He was told a yellow van would pull up outside the Qantas house in Chiefly Square at 5:45. Driver was to toot the horn 3 times and wave the car keys out the window.
Jingle jangle.
They were like, if anything goes wrong, boom. He's like,
cut, boom.
Yeah. The getaway vehicle is not to be followed. Obviously, if you follow, the story.
Exactly. A yellow van. It's
and then he was like,
bright color.
It's not just me. There's a huge network here. It's other things can happen if you delineate. Is that the right word? Delineate from the plan?
Deviate?
Is it deviate? What's delineate?
Delineate is like a little like a subcategory.
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. So not
Whatever.
Deviate.
Yeah.
Not delineate. And then so there was police radar showed there's vehicles kind of like undercover out there. He made the Captain Ritchie made the rendezvous to deliver the ransom, and he didn't know if he knew what the chief executive looked like. So they weren't going to substitute a police officer in the place. They didn't want to take that chance. He's like, no. I know what you look like. Now you've deviated from the plan. Yeah, look at that. Learning. Nice.
Life is a process of learning.
Nice. And the getaway vehicle was not tailed. The van was discovered 15 minutes later, parked at the corner of George and Bathurst Streets, opposite the Regent Theater in the heart of the city. Want to take a little break? Let me get back.
I was just going to say that.
Movies inspired by real crimes. Cruise ship deaths and disappearances. Crimes that shape the course of history. And crimes involving families.
These are just a few of the series you can find on Corpus Delicti. Corpus Delicti is a weekly true crime podcast that takes a series approach, spending several weeks at a time discussing crime within a certain topic.
Hosted by 2 Southern Belles, we bring you compelling stories with a hint of Southern charm. Sometimes, the stories will make you cry. Sometimes, you might even laugh. But they're stories you won't want to miss.
Find Corpus Delicti on your favorite podcast app by searching for CORPUSDELICTI and join us every Tuesday. Hope to see you then.
All right. Now we're back from the break.
We're back.
Hello. Let me read some Instagram.
Yeah. What's happening on our Instagram, which is Ghost Town Pod.
Yeah. Nice.
Thank you.
Forrest Whitaker Eyes, which is Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
do you know this person?
I do now.
Oh.
Yeah, he made Instagram stories. He's listened to Ghost Town Pod at Rebecca Lieb and at the Jason Horton, which is our Instagrams.
That's us.
They are fantastic. So super supportive.
Wow, just like I love it. Brief, but impacting.
Yeah, I like it. Super important. Thank you for the support. If you are wondering, like, is rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts helpful?
Don't need that.
It is.
Absolutely.
It absolutely
we
is super
live
helpful.
for it. We live on it.
It helps us with you having to really do very little. And if you've done it already, we appreciate it. Thank you so much. Please do it.
Please.
And if you want to do more, you can get a limited edition enamel pin.
Yes.
The first piece of Ghost Town merch.
Oh my God. These pins are beautiful.
They are.
Solid gold.
Better.
Diamonds.
Yes. Better than the show itself.
Yes. For only $6.66.
Yeah.
You can make a deal with the devil, baby.
Yeah. And it's limited. We are probably going to break even on this particular thing.
That's an optimistic thought.
Yes. We're probably going to lose money.
Uh-huh.
But we rather you have the pin, but you still get the bonus episodes. So you go to, what's the site?
The Patreon is www.ghosttownpatreon.com. I got nervous. Okay.
You tried to show off the www.
I know, I really did. I really
Showboated.
flew too close
You're
to the
hot
sun.
dog
Okay.
the whole thing.
www.patreon.com/ghosttownpod. All right.
Yes.
We did it. I finally got it. It's been a year in the making. I haven't known. I am not an active knowledge of our social media or Patreon accounts for about a year. But here we are, You
didn't know who Nicolas Cage was when I was trying to describe it to you.
It's true. So, I am very with it.
Yeah,
I am not slowly going crazy.
Okay. Are you down for more crime?
I am.
Okay, let's do some more crime. So a technician had noticed a mustard-colored van being driven.
Mustard or yellow? Which is it?
I would say brown. I would say brown mustard. Was driven erratically along George Street and, caught his attention. He just jammed on the brakes. A man emerged from the van carrying 2 blue suitcases, and he walked around corner to Bathurst Street and headed off on foot in the direction of Hyde Park.
Why?
Hyde Park in London.
Why? It's like the van. He leaves the van with the money on foot.
Yeah. Like in a panic. So at 6:10 p.m.,
suitcase.
Mr. Brown telephoned Qantas officials for a final time. Public phone booth, by the way.
Of course, God.
And
it always is.
He was like, postscript, there's no bomb on the plane.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
He's like, you've been punked.
Yeah, pretty much. You've been exed. Jamie Kennedy's exed.
Wow. Deep cut.
Yeah, deep cut. So people are obviously relieved. It's not like, hey.
Yeah, they're like,
come on, you lied to us. I was hoping there was going to be a bomb. I hope something was going to go wrong here. So people were relieved.
Yeah. If this were a movie, it would be the fuel would be already on zero, like past zero.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh my God. And he's like, no bomb. And they'd be like, thank God. And then like a bunch of people make out on the plane.
Yeah. Yes. So Mr. Brown gets away.
Mr. Brown.
Temporarily. So they're retracing his steps. They're trying to find out where he went.
You're like, flag all mustard or yellow vans.
Yeah. Once he handed the 2 blue suitcases to Mr. Brown, Captain Ritchie took the elevator to his office. A couple minutes passed when Detective McNeil walked in and announced they've got away. Then the Qantas general manager was like, we had a plan. They had a plan to, they had undercover plain clothes.
Yeah. Sure.
The police got stuck in the elevator.
Nice.
And it stopped at every floor. When you're in an elevator and just it stops at every single floor.
Yeah.
And you have to go.
And
so that's
like, oh my God.
There's got to be a way to bypass that.
Yeah. There's got to be some button where it's like, get the bomb threat person.
So they did not have him. So there's conflicting stories of like what actually happened. No, we wouldn't have gotten him anyway based on other information. But,
Sure.
This guy seemed to just be like, I got the monies and started running.
He's like, I'm on foot.
Yeah.
I'm running towards a public park.
He's probably better at the kind of technology version of it than the escape version of it.
I mean, some of this seems very sophisticated, this story, and other parts seems not at all.
So now they're like, he's like, he's gotten away.
Yeah, he's gone.
The money's got to be spent. Guilt has to be weighed. People involved.
The bills.
It's like loose lips sink ships. So, if we notice somebody going, hey, wow, you just bought a $75,000 car. And then somebody wanted,
Don't they know the serial numbers? It's kind of like DB Cooper.
That's some.
Okay.
Some. They couldn't do it all in time.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah. So they thought that Mr. Brown, they're kind of the CIB, Criminal Investigation Bureau, which is the CIA or FBI. They thought that it was somebody who was involved, that understood aviation,
And
which is
bombs.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of makes sense.
Right.
I suppose, I mean, you'd have to figure out you'd have to understand nuances of like, you can't just be like, I'll just throw it in like, seat F3. You know what I mean? You just can't.
No.
You just can't do it like that. They might have worked at the Sydney airport, that maybe knew some people. There was a story from the Daily Telegraph that the Detective Sergeant Ken Brown was creating a life-size model of him based on the description. So they were making like a composite of him to kind of like
life-size model.
Yeah. So just to really identify who it is.
Yeah. Every part of him.
They said, press, come in here, it was like an art installation.
They're like, come take a picture with Dr. Brown.
They said that he was around 25, 5'8",
young, hot, single,
brown hair, like kind of like to the, like kind of like a bob cut.
Like a Prince Valiant style?
Yeah, sort of. Something like that. Mustache, glasses. Now, who knows what's a wig and what's, blue floral pattern shirt, open at the neck, pretty deep. Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty deep.
I'd take a picture with this composite. I'd take this composite out for dinner and I'd pay.
Fawn colored wind cheater jacket, which maybe like a windbreaker.
Fawn colored? Oh, that's like, I call that light brown peanut M&M.
This is very jaunty. Light colored trousers, flared bottoms, well-worn brown suede desert
everyone
boots.
loves a flare jean on a man,
Yeah. Is it Jim Morrison? I don't know. No, he died around the same time. The London newspaper, The Evening Standard, claimed the man was known to them, and they dispatched some fingerprints, and they were like, hey, we're going to have a lead on this person. On June 1st, police parked the mustard-colored van at the corner of the scene, so somebody might recognize it. Like, hey, do you remember seeing this here? So we'll put it there so you understand what's going on. They want to see if there's connected to any other criminals. They connected with the FBI, Scotland Yard, Interpol, academics at Sydney's University, listening to the voices. All the some of the things that we were talking about in another episode, where it's like all these little things,
the tools, the resources,
and
to
this
identify
is earlier
someone.
in time. But of course, it's when it's bomb threats and half a million.
Yeah, or even like the phone tracking thing, like where to find out where the phone booths were, or the registration on the van, or something, or maybe even like the brand shirt. Like, can you go and find? That's what they did for Night Stalker. They found his shoe, but like, can we find any of those things?
Yeah. Well, what they did, they started doing like some forensics on his voice. They said a mid-England with the twang of North London.
Ooh.
He said the man took possession of the ransom spoken on an Australian accent, so detectives said that maybe it wasn't the actual Mr. Brown. The person who picked the thing up was not the person on the phone.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And the ingredients, I'll call them, of the bomb were only used at the Mount Isa Mines Limited in Queensland and Western Australian Mining Company. They went and investigated. They had a few suspects, people who maybe have access or like a working knowledge of it. And then finally,
baby,
the arrest
Gold
of
line.
Mr. Brown. Ooh.
Mr. Brown and me.
You can write letters to him now? You're already writing letters to him.
I'm already in love.
Yeah. He's 97 right now. So you were like, 95 is my limit. But.
Come on.
So two men were brought in on August 4th, 1971. A press conference. Chief of the CIB said that a 31-year-old fiberglass factory owner and driver from Devon, England was Mr. Brown, and a 20-year-old Australian barman and former marine engineer was his accomplice. A detective acted on a tip-off from a gas station attendant about a guy that was spending a bunch of money.
Yeah, in a gas station. He was like, I want all the sodas and hard-boiled eggs and cigarettes.
Pulled in with a brand new Jaguar. So,
and he was like, I want 14 money orders and a Snickers.
Yeah, it's just like, dude, like, I don't...
No,
you know what I mean?
He's like, something's up.
Yeah. He's like, I'll take the king size. He's like, no, I'll take the regular size. I'll buy two of them. I don't care. I got money to burn. That's my idea of luxury,
Twix,
though.
Yeah.
That's what, No, actually, here's what happened. He originally had a Jaguar, and then he came in with a new Ford GT.
Oh.
So I guess...
He's like, wait, nix the Jaguar. He's like, go back, park away, get the other...
No, it's pulled in a new... Oh, okay. They switched cars.
Okay.
Got it. Now I'm understanding this. Because, there's just... he's like, oh, okay, new car. They put a tail on him. Then he was arrested, living in a brand new penthouse. And all those things that you shouldn't...
Don't do those things. I guess if you're like 25 and you're like, you've never had this kind of money, you're like, I'll buy a high-rise building. I'll buy the nicest things. I'll get all the gold and silvers and platinums and diamonds, champagnes, women.
The second man, they arrested him. He was sitting in a late model red Ford GT inside of his home, and they impounded a Ford van located in a property in another suburb, and it contained a bunch of tools that coincide with this, and they were arrested to appear in court the same day. They stood court, and they charged that Peter Pasquale Macari was the person known as Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown.
He's like, let's take this name and let's whittle it down to something very normal.
Yeah, very cool name. He said he was the man who placed the bomb in the Sydney airport, made the telephone calls, and took the ransom and drove the van. Second man, Mr. Raymond James Pointing. Good names.
Ooh, yeah.
Assisted Macari in making the bomb, wrote 3 of the letters, and then just kind of aided him in the operation.
Yeah.
Technical stuff. So,
did he also have a penthouse, though?
What he had? I think he had a couple of roommates.
Oh.
It was like a Three's Company situation.
Living in deep North Hollywood.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Not all the money's recovered. That's a big thing about this.
That's
the money is still,
thing.
And they said Mr. Macari was a flight risk. He was skipped on bail due to the serious nature. There was still $460,000 were still missing. Remained in custody.
A lot of money that's still missing.
On Sunday, August 8th, the Sydney Morning Herald ran a story, $138,240, $240, whatever the money is at the time. I was hidden in a fireplace in I think Mr. Brown's. Yeah.
In his fireplace.
Yeah. In what is in a property that he purchased, was bricked up in a fireplace. And he had some time. I mean, there was a couple of months where they didn't have.
It seems weird though. It's like, I want to hide this cookie. I'll put it in a mouth.
Yeah.
You know?
So they found it in plastic garbage bags, and there was stuff with the $20 notes. They couldn't find anything else anywhere there. The total came to $138,240. They can now account for half of the $500,000. Detectives alluded they were expecting a person, the petrol station attendant, to make a claim for the $50,000 reward. So that's accounting for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I guess, and Mr. Brown, right before he did that, a movie called The Doomsday Flight appeared on a Sydney television station, and a similar story of that concealed bomb criminal, and if it flew below that, it would detonate. Yeah. So
was that one? There was no bomb on the plane too.
No, I think that one was not. Yeah. And then the Washington D.C. told hundreds of television stations, do not show this film. It was aired in Canada in 1971. I don't know if it actually ended up airing. Yeah. So it was like a pretty
giant
it was like a
bust.
pretty
don't make a movie
that
coincides with a crime, a current crime, because that could be sticky.
And then there's like, where's the money? Where is the money?
Show me the money. That was later.
There's $239,000. He said there was a third person, and he was the mastermind.
Oh,
goes by the name of Ken. They're just getting lazy with the names here.
Gary.
It was Ken who asked him to make the bomb. Had watched Doomsday Flight and stayed in touch until the day of the extortion. And he took all of it except for $125. He threatened me and spoke of what they would do to him. So he was also under the gun. Yeah. Mr. Brown said that after being paid the $500,000, he left the stolen van and he walked down Kent Street. He said that Ken and his second man were waiting in a white Valiant. Both parties drove to Olive Street, Paddington.
I think we were saying Olive Garden. I was like, hell yeah, that's how this ends.
Yeah. The suitcases were open. Ken took out the $125 and handed it to him, and then he put the lion's share of the ransom and drove away. Police are like, it's Macari that did it.
Yeah.
He said they gave $50,000 the ransom to Raymond Poynton and kept the rest. They think that the missing money's underwater off Bondi Beach in 2 corrosion-proof wall safes.
No, that's same
one of the
beach.
theories. Yep.
That's very close to my brother and kind of close to a teacher's pet.
I think your brother's
Does my brother have this money?
Is his name Ken? On January 27th, 1972, they were about to get sentenced. Macari got 15 years.
Okay.
Pled guilty, and Raymond James Poynting got 7 years.
All right.
Yeah, and crimetraveler.org, really good site. They have like really good, honestly, have really good, they just have really good information.
That's great.
And a ton of good stuff.
Right,
the great pic. If you wanted to check pictures, check them out.
Okay.
It was, I
bet there's some cool fashion photos of these men on this
gorgeous
site. I can't wait.
And the bombs are pretty terrifying.
I will swipe right on all of that.
From the brilliant creative minds that brought you Keep Drinking, It'll Get Better, and the Real Housewives of Hillcrest Nursing Home, comes the podcast that people are raving about. Hi, this is Edward October for OctoberPodVHS.com, here to tell you what people are saying about our true crime podcast. A thread store in Arizona says, too much dribble and slang. These ladies obviously enjoy their own humor and sound high. Hey, at least they called you ladies. Benny from Idaho says, your topics are so appealing, but a 3-person pod is difficult enough to follow without banter. Our true crime podcast only has 2 people? Wait. Where's the other 100 5-star reviews? Can somebody give me the 5-star reviews? Okay, here we go. Much better. Luscious Lee says, stand up. 5 stars. You girls are funny AF. I especially love the me and Mrs. Jones rendition you sneak into the recording. Cherry G107 says, I struggle finding a new podcast, and so far, I've been hooked to you guys' podcasts. Keep up the good work. Thumbs up, smiley face. Our true crime podcast, 2 girls, 1 story, and lots of bad renditions of songs you love. Available on your favorite podcatcher. Go binge it today.